What's going on, everybody? How you doing? And welcome. My name's Lord PeteyTV. We're here once again to talk about our Mythic Plus affixes, what to do about them, and what type of updates we've been going through every single week. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So first thing we're going to end up talking about is what the affixes are. Now, our level 4 affix is going to be Zaltap's Bargain Void Down. Void Down means that an adversary is going to spawn and players have to DPS that down. Once it's down, you're going to end up getting a buff for cooldown reduction and versatility. While that affix is up, it is going to reduce the damage to the rest of the group itself that's still up. So when you think of that, you want to make sure you're going forward and being able to take care of that problem while you're dealing with it. Now, the next thing you're going to have is you're going to be going through Tyrannical, which means bosses are going to have more health, they're going to deal more damage. And then at 10, we're going to have our Fortified, which means we're going to have both affixes. So Fortified is going to be non-bosses have 20% more health, and they're going to deal more damage. And then on our affix level 12, it means the bargains are going to be removed, and deaths are now going to be costing 15 instead of 5. So this week is going to be a little bit of a DPS race type week. So it's just something to kind of put in your mind and think about as you're dealing with these affixes. Affixes themselves aren't really that hard to deal with. It's more of how you deal with them in certain situations, i.e. you don't over pull, you end up taking your time on certain things, and you kind of go through and you'll get those done. Now, the changes that we ended up having, we had a couple of really interesting things that kind of popped up, and I just want to quickly talk about those really quickly. There have been a couple of things that have had to be changed for tooltip options. Dungeons and raids, time walking dungeons for Battle for Azeroth is now available, and it's going to be tested. Now what they're doing is they're increasing all the health in all time walking dungeons. All bosses are going to have significantly increased HP in all time walking dungeons. Adjusted difficulty scaling via the following changes. Lower geared players are now slightly more damage resistant. Incoming damage should be more noticeable against geared players. And fixed an issue where item scaling did not account for enchantment, gearing, and other power sources. Time walking dungeons will now drop adventurer gear, and it was explorer, which is, okay. And then completing a time walking dungeon now rewards 25 time war badges instead of 10, which is good because they're going to be adding a whole bunch of other things too. There were some changes to Survival Hunter. They fixed some things where aspects of the Eagle variants of Raptor Strike and Mongoose Bite were dealing less damage than intended. They fixed an issue where coordinated assault at greater than 30 yards away could grant Howl of the Pack leader twice. Fixed an issue where aspect of the Eagle was not correctly extending the range of Spirit Bond. And then there were some other things that, we really don't worry about. PvP, raid stuff, things like that. Mostly the location was changed. There is going to be an added thing happening in 11.17, and it is going to be a belt. Now, these belts are supposed to be some of the best belts for all of the classes. So it's something to really think of and kind of talk about. So these belts are going to be similar to the circlet. They're going to serve as a mid-patch item that players will unlock, customize, and power, and they'll do something very similar that there was in Season 1 with the ring. To obtain the belt, you have to complete the quest line that Dargan is going to be giving to you, which is going to give you the overcharged delves, which means you're going to have to complete delves to then complete things for the belt. When you're going to upgrade the belt, it's going to be starting at 684 item level. That is huge. And players will empower the belt using Titan memory cores, and throughout that every single week, and it is going to cap at a total of 5 times, and at the end it's going to be 700 item level. So what this is pretty much saying is you need to start picking these things up, because this is going to be great. You're going to have the ability to customize the belt, meaning that you're not going to have to deal with multiple different gems. It's just a simple click change type thing. So that's going to be really easy. Charge bolts, it means single target damage is going to deal a proc. You're going to have Cauterizing Bolt, which is going to be a smart healing proc. Critical Chain, which means stacking crit strike. Spark Burst, which is going to be haste proc. Static Charge, which is going to grant 20 stacks of versatility, diminishing with each special attack. What is it called? Electric Current, which means constant mastery buff that builds up and shrinks back down and repeats. Charge Touch, which is another smart healing proc. Energy Shield, which is an uncontrollable damage absorption shield. Charged Crystal, which is going to be a split damage proc. So those are the things you're going to be ending up dealing with and changing with that. And then you're going to have, I don't know if you know this, that there's a belt enchant, which is from the vault, which is called SAD, it stands for Socket Adding Device, which is pretty funny. And it is pretty funny that it's called SAD, because when you don't get something in the vault, you're kind of sad. So you're going to end up having that. So make sure you end up getting that belt and make sure you upgrade it, because it's going to be the best in slot for almost every single class. There's also going to be because this is turbo mode, Valor Stones are going to become Warbound transferable with a 25% cost or penalty. So and now what's going to also be happening tomorrow or today, if you're watching this, is that Hero and Myth Track are going to be extended 2 grades or 2 levels, which means you're going to have 6 of 8, which is 6 of 6 now. You're going to have 6 of 8. So that means you are going to be able to forward through that. The crests are going to be lifted, and it's going to be good. So Mythic plus drop rates for Warbound until equipped gear are going to be doubled, so you're going to be seeing a lot more Warbound gear coming in, which means this is the perfect time for you to come into the game and start leveling those alts and gearing those alts if you're thinking about changing them for Season 3. Excuse me. So it's going to be end up changeable for lesser alts, especially when you can benefit from the negative 50% Valor and 33% cost reduction for what you're going to be going through. So I think this is going to be really interesting. I'm kind of excited to see where we're going to go for the rest of the season. I know that my Pally still needs some upgrades, my Priest needs some upgrades, and especially my my Druid, which I've been playing with, and my Rogues, which has been funsy, just so I can get some gear when doing, like, world quests, because none of my characters of importance really do anything. So I think this stuff's going to be good, so we'll see how it goes. Now, as always, I appreciate everyone for checking out the video. My name is Lord PeteyTV. I'm on Twitch.tv every single Monday through Friday. If for some reason you don't see a video coming out of me for next week, my wife is pregnant and we are going to be having our kid any moment. So I appreciate all the love and support here, and I greatly appreciate anyone subscribing to this, following us on Twitch, subscribing on either platform, and also joining us here on YouTube. So thanks again, everyone. I appreciate you. Dream big, keep gaming. Have a great one, and I hope you all have a great vault today. And hopefully you'll see my vault tomorrow. Bye, everybody.